From Minnesota sisters with stories to share. We're purely been where sisterhood meets pop culture. Purely pinned, come on in. From Minnesota sisters with stories to share. We're purely pinned where sisterhood meets pop culture. Purely pinned, come on in. Purely pinned, come on in.
Ready.
Welcome to Purely Pinned, our PEO inspired pop culture podcast. I'm Kimberly Owens from Chapter CL in Minnesota.
And I'm Deann Lefkin from Chapter FR in Northfield, Minnesota.
What is your favorite PEO memory?
Oh, favorite PEO memory. I don't know. I have a lot.
Well, let me share mine and maybe that'll prompt you. So, one of my favorite things, and I have a lot of favorite memories of PEO, but I was brought in at 19. And I would basically show up for the Christmas party every year, those first couple of years. And I'd get the cards and the chocolates in the mail. And I got a lot of care packages in college. But I had just graduated college and my grandmother had passed. Okay, so I made it through my college years with all that support from PEOs. And then she had been sick for a while, and I'd been going to meetings more often with my grandmother to help her, drive her, and whatnot. And then when she passed away, at her funeral, there was a banquet of food. And I thought, I don't remember planning who brought all these bars and sweets and this spread, just this giant food spread. And my mom said the PEOs brought all the food. And I thought, wow. And at that point, this was my grandmother's friends, right? And these were nice ladies. They were like, so many grandmas, right? And here I thought, my grandma left and has passed on, and her sisters are still taking care of her to the very end. And that's when I really felt the true meaning of PEO and what is this lifetime commitment. Yes, they were there for the golf and the bridge and the parties. And these were, the 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, these ladies were from that era. And they made sure all the way to the end that her funeral was just taking care of everything, all the little details that I may have missed or my mother may have missed because we were just so mourning and loss. They covered it, and it was still, prim and proper the way my grandmother would have loved. And so that's when I went, this is forever. This is the lifetime commitment. And that's my favorite memory or moment of PEO, because that's when I really learned and appreciated what PEO is for me.
Yeah. I can't think of a single moment. There's so many things.
Yeah.
But I think we had a sister move from Montana,
Okay.
and we got a email mentioning her and that she needed some help. And so I'm sure other sisters
She moved from Montana?
to Northfield. And so my mom's sister and I went to help her because she was moving her fabric business from Montana to Minnesota. And my mom and I both quilt. And so my mom, she was in love with it.
So you went to Montana?
No. We helped her kind of set up her store in Northfield. Okay. But her business is reproduction fabrics, and she reproduces like Civil War era fabrics that then are used in movies.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so, it's
very
like that. So
niche.
it was
It's real
very,
niche.
yeah. So, and you can buy her fabrics too.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to see it, the business side of fabric sales, but also she made the fabrics.
I mean, that's using her talent.
And and just helping this woman who came from Montana because her husband also had pancreatic cancer. And
so she was going through a lot.
She was going, and her daughter was here. and her grandchild, and so they were moving back here, and, so it was just really nice. But I think one of the most exciting moments I was part of, was at last year's convention at lunch with you.
Oh, heavens. I know what you're talking about.
That all of a sudden
That's
I turn around and you're sobbing. And I thought,
okay.
what is happening? And
Well,
people around me are so concerned for you. And once I found out what it was, oh my
okay.
goodness, I think everybody cried.
I'm a weepy girl, so tears flow easy for me. And I think as a child, I was put in very formal situations where we were kind of expected to hold our tears in.
Mhm.
And I think that's not uncommon for a lot of people. I think more common for men than women. But in my childhood with my grandmother, who I loved dearly, but there was an expectation, church, the country club, wherever we were, if I was upset, and I was a small child, but if I hurt myself or if something, my brother hurt my brothers and we fought, and I was sensitive. I would have to hold in the tears. and and I think part of being an adult, you get to choose how you behave. And I hold no tears in anymore. I let them fall. I release them. I think it's a healthy expression. I think all men, women, if happy tears, sad tears, let them
A
out.
good cry could feel so good.
It's physically healthy
Yeah.
to release that. It's part of the human experience. And so I am a pro tears girl. Okay, so that's it. So when I'm in moments that are overwhelming emotionally, the tears fall. So what happened? So I was sobbing. I was sobbing at
Like
convention
you had
last year.
you hadn't even, I think you were going to the buffet to get food.
Yes, I never made it to the buffet. I ran into my childhood music teacher. And I thought she was dead. I mean, I have such a misconception of time because she was my kindergarten through 5th grade music teacher. And there she was, and she's now a PEO, and she was at lunch at convention. And so you never know who you're going to run into at convention. And so the shock of, oh, she's still alive. And I wasn't trying to be funny or insulting. I just was, you're alive and you're a PEO and you're here. I just started crying and I kind of regressed to my childhood state.
No, not kind of.
I was turned into a child and I couldn't switch it off. It was just an overwhelming moment of excitement, of of trying to tell her my entire life story in 10 minutes. Like, "Oh, remember that little girl?" And I just if you ever had a teacher, you think about your favorite teacher. I think we all had teachers that really saw you for you. And she was really a great music teacher because she wasn't she taught us how to read music and appreciate music and to play music on a variety of instruments. But she also used it, I believe, nowadays we would call it emotional regulation. And I'm a big fan of the arts and music in the classrooms because it's not just music you're teaching. I learned emotional regulation. And I think there's a bigger need now than ever for what do they call EQ?
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence and emotion understanding your emotions. I was always a little more of an immature child. And so as other kids around me were a little more mature, I was a little slow on the uptick, as they like to say. I was a little more immature. And it's very common for those with ADHD. You're just socially a little far behind. I was academically advanced
Mhm.
and I was in the gifted classes.
Also, same thing.
Same thing. But with not having your brain doesn't develop equally
Mhm.
throughout. And so where I excelled in, say, in math, I was very deficient with my social skills and understanding my emotions and my surroundings. And so music class, that this teacher, she taught us the art of breathing and coping mechanisms when you feel overwhelmed. Humming is actually very
Right.
helpful.
Helps
It's
your vagus nerve.
sing to yourself, breathing, lowering, feeling your tummy and feeling a deep breath doesn't move the shoulders. A deep breath moves the tummy. And she taught that. And she taught me so much emotional regulation that as a child, you don't sit there and say, oh, I'm learning how to regulate my emotions. You're just, this is a fun breathing exercise, or this is a fun song. She made it so she was my favorite teacher of all my teachers. And I've had a lot of great teachers in school and college and in grad school, but we're an education organization, right? And so there's already, when you're at P.E.O convention, a focus and extra emphasis on higher education for women.
Mhm.
And here is this woman who was my music teacher at the lunch. I fell to my knees. I started crying. I was weeping in her lap of gratitude, excitement, a follow up. So everyone at convention was like, "What's going on
I
with
had so because
Kimberly?"
people know you and I are
It was a
tied.
big scene. I made a scene.
People know we're tied, and so I got lots of questions. Is she okay? Like, oh no, let me tell you what happened.
I was the talk of the town
Then it was,
at
what
last.
happened?
And I think everybody was empathetic. And this my music teacher, she just handled it with such grace and such a pro. And she was just trying to eat her lunch, and she understood this was for me. Since then I've had her over for dinner. I've connected with her, and I'm so grateful.
Because she knows your brothers too.
Yes, she had all of us.
Mhm.
She had all the siblings. We all went to the same elementary school. And she just both my brothers are musicians, so she inspired them
Mhm.
to go as they had day jobs, but at nighttime, to really fulfill that as a hobby, as a part of your life. I'm not very talented musically, but have a deep appreciation for music, and I love singing. I so it was a big scene. It was a big PEO. It's up there for PEO moments. I think I'll always treasure my grandmother's one as my favorite because it taught me the lifetime commitment. But the music teacher run in at convention just teaches you how important education for women is, and that getting that higher education and the difference. She had hundreds of thousands of kids go through her classroom. And I think teachers don't understand the impact. And all these years, I mean, 30, it- 40 years later, 40 years later, I I was like, wow, I was in awe of my teacher. Um, so it was really special. So who knows what this year's convention will bring? I mean, I will try not to make too many scenes. I usually make a scene at the marketplace when I'm fighting over the last of whatever. So I was glad I didn't make a scene at the marketplace. It was more at the lunch buffet. So who knows what this year you're welcome to make a scene instead. I mean, I'm
I
always
often do so.
the scene stealer. Well, I also think you and I are so comfortable in our skin that if I do something embarrassing, if I fall over, I get back up, that other sisters, older sisters have even come to me and they say, "Oh, you handled that so well. I wouldn't have handled that well." Or
Like, no, I'm just used
they,
to it.
we just, we just get used to
That's
it.
just me.
Um, yeah, so convention's an exciting time of year. It's time to gather. Do we have an international convention this year?
No, that was last year.
That's
So,
in odd years, right?
yes. So It's coming out. But yeah, so
So in 27.
and I forget where it is.
It was Arizona last year.
It was. I don't know where it is this year. This next year, I mean. Um, but
I've
those are
only,
kind of fun.
I've only been to one.
I've only been to one also.
We should put that on our bucket list.
We went to the one in the anniversary one
in
Illinois.
Iowa,
Mhm.
and it was a nice road trip.
I was supposed to go to one in St. Louis. I was supposed to go.
My mother went to the St.
I was supposed to go with a bunch of state presidents, past state presidents.
Aren't you
but-
fancy hanging out
I
with
know.
state presidents?
Well, that's because I had Ruth.
You do a lot of state.
That's because I had Ruth Summers in my chapter, and I was going to go with Ruth and Karen Rudd
These are
and
past
Meryl
state
Thornton.
Minnesota presidents.
Can you imagine how much fun Ruth, Meryl, and Karen would? Oh, it would have been a blast. But I fell and injured my hip and broke my
I
knee.
remember when you had that injury.
It was 2 weeks before. I couldn't travel anywhere because I couldn't bend my knee and I couldn't ride a bus down there. So,
Okay, so I think we should try to get another international convention on our bucket
Mhm.
list. And so this also brings me to the next topic. Travel. The International came out with an announcement this month.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did.
So I don't know all the details, but apparently they are collaborating with a travel agency to offer PEO specific group travel vacations. Have you seen this?
I have.
I don't know the locations. I don't know much, but I love the idea.
I know. It could be so much fun.
Especially if you are a single and you like to travel. Before I met my husband, I was always that single that liked to travel. And here it'll be all PEOs.
Yeah. So you already know
Exclusively
I'm going to fit in with this group. You're
have
not just
something in
signing up
common.
for some random travel group.
No, you have something in common. I think this is a brilliant idea. I'm surprised we haven't had it before
I
now.
know.
And I'm sure the locations are going to be fabulous
Yeah.
and with class. So we're going to have to deep dive on
Yeah.
where.
So maybe we'll talk about it
And
next
when.
time and figure out.
Because I think it's 2027. I think the trips, they released it now, but I think the trips are happening next year.
That would make sense because this feels a little too quick.
Well, it reminds me of how Cody, when they started doing their senior travels.
Yes.
As end of, when it was a 2-year school, they started the seniors going to Europe.
Yeah.
And I think they continue that, but now I'm not sure.
No, it's still going.
But it's not just for seniors. I
No.
think it's juniors and seniors, or
Yeah, I don't know who it's
I
for,
don't
but they still go somewhere.
I don't know all the technicalities now that it's a 4-year school.
Yeah.
But I always liked the fact that when you graduate, you've traveled
Mhm.
internationally. It teaches so much, teaches a woman to get a passport
Yes.
and the paperwork. There's a lot going into international travel that as Minnesotans or US, we just get in our cars, we can cross state borders. But when you go international, you might need a visa. So you have to learn about visas. You need a passport. You start learning, is there a different language, culture? What are sensitivities? Certain churches, might not want bare shoulders. You need a light shawl, be respectful. You're in somebody else's home country. What are those unwritten rules? Again, always the unwritten rules. Come back to that. I always try to learn them, be respectful, and do my best.
Mhm.
But I'm excited. I love to travel. And I really enjoy international travel because there is, dare I say, a thrill when you are traveling over an ocean, because we are surrounded by water.
We are.
Even if you're going to go anywhere outside the U, I mean, there's Canada and Mexico. Otherwise, you got to cross an ocean,
Mhm.
right? And I know you've traveled. So that moment where you're over either the Pacific or the Atlantic and you're flying and it's just blue. When you look and you see the plane and it's
And that's it.
I try to sleep, but when you wake up and you're in that moment, at that point, there's a thrill to it. It's a little panic strict. It's a little panic, but it's also thrilling and exciting. And you look around, everybody's asleep and calm, and you're like, I'm literally flying over an ocean. at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. And then to go to these countries, I was in Italy a long time ago, over 25 years ago. And I remember going to Verona and seeing an archway with a date on it, and it was 1 AD.
1
1.
AUD.
But I mean, you see so many buildings in Europe with the dates on
The
them, and you're like,
history.
that building is older than my country. Oh my gosh. And they look at us like, oh, when we
Or
talk about,
our founder, like,
yeah,
or England.
yeah, we
It's
talk, we
older
talk
than
about
England.
things here being, all these antiques and all. Oh my, we have no idea.
Thousands of years.
No idea what
Over
antiques are compared
2,000 years.
to other countries.
I am taking my family to Italy. You just mentioned Italy for the first time this summer, and they've never traveled outside the US. So I'm in the teaching mode of, okay, passports, visas, packing. And one of the really interesting kind of lessons I'm teaching them, and it doesn't make sense, I get a little pushback, is the art of packing for international travel.
Yes.
And they've said you only get a small little wheelie bag, and then you can have a backpack or duffel bag. But you have to be able to carry both of them because we may have to go upstairs. There's uneven cobblestones. And when we go to Disney, we bring the big size suitcases with all the things, the beach towels, the swimsuits, and you go for just a few days and we have these big giant suitcases. And so now I'm saying, yes, yes, I know. But for Europe, have to downsize because we're going to use trains and
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to be able to put it over in your
Have a
overhead.
big suitcase on a train? No.
I've done it.
It's
It's the
awful.
worst. It's the worst experience if you have a large size. Okay, I know I like my large t-shirts, but I do not like a large suitcase in Europe.
No.
You have to. And so that's been the real lesson learned is how to pack so light. And we'll be gone longer.
Yeah.
So, and my daughter is
Wrap
not
your head around it.
right, because when we even go to the cabin for the weekend, we've bring a big suitcase.
Yeah.
And just throw everything in it.
I've gotten this. I used to be really good at that, only bringing my carry-on. But I've gotten out of that habit now.
You've done a lot of traveling.
Mhm.
What was your favorite city? Let's start there. An international, non-US city that you traveled to.
Well, when I was in the military, my favorite city was Venice
So Venice. I've been to Venice twice.
because I worked in Vicenza, which is not far from Venice. So I flew into Venice and then took a train to Vicenza.
So you're train traveling.
Mhm.
So again, you have to pack light.
But I was also there for 4 months. So
You were in Venice for 4 months?
I was in
or-
Vicenza for 4 months,
Okay.
which was
For the military.
like 45-minute hour train ride away.
Okay.
So not far. So I went to Venice a lot. I was kind of between Venice and Verona.
So like weekend trips.
Yeah. So I was there during Carnival, during this time of year, during Lent. So with all the masks and all that stuff, it was amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. But now in my adult life, my non-military life,
Post-military.
we went to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
But and that was
Scotland.
amazing. And took my parents who had never been, well, they've been to Canada.
But they hadn't crossed the ocean.
They've been to
'Cause
Mexico.
it is very different experience once you fly over an ocean.
We stayed in this awesome hotel in Edinburgh, in the middle of
Town.
the mile.
Yeah.
What is it? The King's Mile.
The main street.
We
is what I
stayed in
call
this
it.
place called the Bank. It was a bank, and we stayed on the second floor. There's no elevator,
Oh yeah.
and it was more like the fourth floor,
no elevators is a very real thing.
and we weren't prepared for that. So
stairs.
realizing that that's a lot of stairs, and my poor parents, they're senior citizens, and we have to make them go up these stairs. So it was when you
But
go to your room, you're in your room.
You learn and that a little bit of stairs is good for the body.
It is. So lots of you need good shoes.
Good shoes, yes. I've gotten a pair of Birkenstock sandals, and I'm trying to break them in now before we go.
Luckily, Birkenstocks are back.
They're back, and I got the with the toe, so it's a little dressier than just the
Rather
straps
than just
across, but it has a sturdy sole, and so that's the big thing. They're expensive, and so you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money. You just need a sandal with a sturdy sole because of the cobblestone, the uneven
do not
sidewalks.
have heels.
No, not even kitten.
Nope.
And I don't like ballet slippers shoes either because you need a sturdy sole to give you a little um,
Uh,
cushion
yeah.
cushion
Mhm.
from the cobble of basically anywhere in Europe. And so I'm working on breaking those in, trying to pack light. You got to pack lighter than you're comfortable, lighter than you want, but just so if you have a backpack and your small carry-on, you can run with your stuff if you have to. That's the mobility.
But
Uh,
now my backpack, I think maybe now that I'm a grandma, I don't know, it's become this weird thing. So I'm part of this group and I bring my backpack with and because I have knitting in it, but I don't know, random things come up and I happen to have it in my bag.
you have one of those
I
Mary
am that
Poppin
person. And
bags.
so, somebody cut their finger. Oh, I have a band-aid. What?
I mean, I think that's not unusual to have just everything. One thing I'm gonna try this year, instead of a backpack, I have, like, my weekender bag, which is a giant tote bag, really. It's just 2 larger straps
Mhm.
and a zipper, and it's a black hole of a bag where I can just literally, put everything in it, and so I'm gonna have that with my little
Roller bag.
we'll see. My daughter I have to always be prepared not just to carry my stuff, but at any moment step in to help her with hers. Now we're working on that for her to be independent. But I just know there may be an emergency bathroom situation. Oh, and bathrooms traveling
Yes, I was not prepared to pay.
to pay to use the bathroom.
Like, I don't know if it's still like it's been a while since I've been to Europe.
It's been over a decade for me, but yes, it's certain like the train
So
station,
so I
you have
wonder
to put a
now
coin
if
in.
people don't carry as much cash on them, do they have a credit card option now? Because you had to, yeah, put coins in to
Use
open
the
the stall.
the restrooms.
And or when I was in Italy, it was just a hole in the floor.
I've seen those.
And I was luckily warned about it before I went. So
Those are
it
in
wasn't in my
the
room, but
public.
in like the pubs and stuff, you go in the bathroom and it was a hole.
Mhm.
And luckily, my parents taught me, well, when we did road trips, there were not the gas stations that there are now. So when we go up north to the cabin, and if we
Roughing
had to
it.
pee, my dad would just pull off onto the shoulder, go.
Oh,
And so I was used to that situation. So when I went to Italy, I was not as
I mean,
freaked out.
bathrooms is part of travel,
Mhm.
and understand that different countries and cultures have different restroom experiences.
Or even linen. So my parents are big, they use washcloths, and there were no washcloths in Northern Ireland or in Scotland in our rooms. And so they had to ask for it. They were available, but they weren't
You had to
in the
ask
room.
for. Well, so this is what I like about this new PEO group travel. Because if you're going to travel by yourself, some of these new experiences might be really awkward or you might feel uncomfortable to ask about. But if you have a sister there, there's like empowerment. Like, let's figure this out together. Where are the washcloths? Let's figure out the bathroom situation.
Well, and if it's a tour, they'll often give you
I mean,
information,
these are going to be nice hotels.
but they're also going to tell you these are the things you can expect.
Okay, so this reminds me of such a great story. So I was traveling with my mother again.
Mhm.
This time we went to Rome for Thanksgiving.
I
Okay.
love Rome.
And so we were always traveling for these holidays. So, okay, we're going to Rome for Thanksgiving. And the day before Thanksgiving, we had gotten on each other's nerves. We were just irritating and annoying mother-daughter duo as one does. Okay. And it was a frustrating day of tour of sightseeing.
Mhm.
So we get back to the hotel and I thought, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I don't want to bicker with my mom on Thanksgiving. I want us to have a lovely Thanksgiving in Italy because we usually do a big family Thanksgiving here and we're missing out on that. So and so I go and I sign us up for a tour and to see Pompeii. Okay, so we're gonna go go to Pompeii and do some other sightsees. But what was the best about being on group tour? And this is I'm a fan for group tours, and if there's a bus, don't look down on it because these group tours are usually run by locals that know what are the sites you want to see if you have a short amount of time in a town. So we did a group tour and right away he was like, "Get your cameras ready. We're gonna about to drive by. Look to the left, take your photo, look to the I appreciate it. And then he's like, "We're gonna stop here. This is a great opportunity to use the restroom." And so they timed it. And there's something about thank you. Thank you for informing me this is a good restroom location. I mean, it's the basics, survival, where to eat, where to sleep. And so group travels really help and I know there's the phase of doing the Airbnbs and going on your own, renting a car. And I think there's some great cost savings to that. And then you get to but you have to be savvy enough to find the supermarket, savvy enough to, and maybe more agile to get to know the town and figure out all the things. Sometimes when I'm on vacation, I don't want to be savvy. I want a little autopilot
Yep.
and just relax and take it in. And that's where I love group travel. So I'm really excited that International has found a travel agency and we can do these PEO exclusive vacations.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not exclusive. You could probably bring your friends and family members. We have to
We
read
haven't read the rules.
Watch, there's a lot of rules and I'm getting it wrong. But the spirit, I'm sure, is right there. I really think this is going to be a successful initiative. I'm really excited
Yeah.
International's doing
Yeah.
this.
It's a good idea.
We have to learn the locations.
Yes. Yes. So,
I have wanted to travel with you. Could you
yeah, it could be
imagine?
super
And
fun.
our husbands.
Yeah. But when Greg and I travel, we did this right away. Talked about planning one thing a day. If you do more than that, that's great. But then we don't feel rushed. So one
You need
big thing.
time.
So like
that.
we plan to go visit Rosalind Chapel. That is what today is.
Where is this?
Well, that's in Scotland. It's amazing.
Scotland. Okay.
So that's our thing today. Or we're gonna go to the castle in Edinburgh today. We go to other shops and stuff, but that's our thing today. And that way
Have one
we're
highlight.
not overwhelmed and you can just spend your time on that. But we also like to do the guided tours at the beginning so that you figure it out, or the hop on, hop off bus tours, or the hop on, hop off buses. Have you ever done those?
No.
Oh,
I've been city bus tours. I like a tour of the city.
so kind of like that. So it's buses.
But you can hop on and off at any point.
Yeah, and so it's a great way to get around the city. So that's your bus, but then they usually give you earbuds to plug in, and there's
Like
usually
headphones.
some kind of automated tour guide as the bus is going. It knows where the bus is and can say, maybe you look on your right, you can see. But it's a good way to get a generalized tour of the city. And it was a way, my husband and I went to Berlin. We did that and could see different buildings that we wanted to see during the week and go, okay, I want to go
Plan your
back
one thing
there.
a day.
Yeah. And so doing some of those overarching things at the beginning are good to kind of help you plan.
Travel. I just realized as convention buddies, we would probably be good travel buddies.
Yep. Because if we were able to share a room multiple times,
Already
could
we've
do
done
this.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In close quarters. So that's a great so for those of you that have your convention buddy, You should maybe
They
look at
call it
this
your PEO travel buddy.
your travel buddy.
So you already have somebody.
Right.
Mhm,
Outside of convention. I mean, I love convention, but then, all right, Deanne,
mhm,
we're going to have to maybe 27 look at our travel
mhm.
plans.
There's always things to do too with PEO. Like, um, you're still the president of
Metro
Metro
Connections. It's
Connections.
a
It's not
recip-
reciprocity, but
well,
what
it's
reciprocity was.
Saintful Reciprocity. Um, officially, but we've rebranded it as so for the Twin Cities, we're calling it Metro Connections. That way, Minneapolis or suburbs chapters can join. They don't feel you have to be solely just St. Paul.
And I'm even going to tag along. So
Yeah,
there's other PEO
there's
things that
large
if
group
you pay
gatherings.
attention, oh, I can go over there and do that with them.
It can get overwhelming at times, but I would always encourage if your calendar is open, RSVP and go.
Yes.
Because it really it helps you, it helps PEO. You're usually it's like going to the gym, right? You never wanna it's like, at least for me, I
I don't
find
want to
it,
go.
I don't wanna go.
But after
I
you
don't wanna
went,
go,
then you go
and
home
you
and go,
get in the car, I do feel better, and then I go to the gym.
but
And I'll begrudge it the whole way, and I do it with PEO too. I'll be a little begrudgy on my way. And then I walk in, I'm like, oh, that's right. This is a lovely, safe space. I can be myself. There's this love and acceptance. And I also have it for everyone else there too.
Mhm,
And so it's just this really warmth place where we all value higher education, we all value each other, and we can just connect.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. You feel safe and secure.
Because you are.
I don't worry as much.
It's really great with anxiety.
Hmm.
Helps.
You know what's coming.
Mhm,
And, and you know they pretty much have the same values you do.
mhm. We do.
Hmm.
And you can be quiet, you can be outrageous, or anywhere in between, and you'll be accepted.
Hmm. Yep.
So it's really a really accepting space. I'm really grateful for the gift of PEO,
Hmm.
and I love this life journey we're on. And I'm really grateful for conventions because that's how you and I've connected.
Yeah.
So find your convention buddy. I didn't know you were going to be my convention buddy. We just always kind of
It just happened.
got along, and then you never know where life will take you.
You never know who you're going to meet and what you're going to have in common with them. And, and then when you see them once a year at convention, it's like you've not been apart.
And you don't have to be a delegate to go to convention.
No, it's almost
I'm
more
always
fun.
I'm a guest every year.
Hmm.
Now I'm an alternate this year. So if our person can't make it, I'll step in. But I do enjoy being a guest and sitting back. I don't get involved in a lot of the rules and all the business of convention.
Well, yeah, then you can skip out on the boring stuff.
I miss the meeting.
Not the boring.
The business side of it.
Yeah.
I like the culture side.
Mhm.
I like the marketplace. I like the social gatherings. I'm here for all the fun.
Yeah, because it's good to know some things, but if you're
Yes.
really tired, you can go take a nap.
Well, you know, after 20, nearly 30 years, um, I've seen a lot of the business stuff, and it hasn't really changed that much. The social stuff is where I see the change.
Mhm.
What is in the marketplace? What is the activity? I'm like, this year will be new. Bunko will be a new thing for me, and I'll learn about Bunko. I'm saying it right?
Yes.
Bunko. I
Like a
really want to
bunker.
say bingo. I
Yeah.
just
It's like a
wanna
bunker and bingo.
I want to shout bingo. But do you shout bunko or that's just the name of the game? There's
I can't remember.
Okay, so we're gonna learn it this year's
It has
convention.
been probably 15 years since.
So those in Minnesota, if you're coming to convention, I
Come
strongly
play bunco
encourage
because you can
you
hang out
come
with
play
us.
bunco with us, and it'll be an experience. And I will try not to have too many um, mishaps, but we'll see. No
Don't even say.
promises. No
I don't even
promises.
try not to anymore
We show up and we'll see what
because it's gonna
happens.
happen.
There's gonna be a show.
I just need to roll with it.
We do
Whatever.
with a smile.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing cards. I'm used to losing, and now I just find it hilarious when I lose so bad.
And probably even more hilarious when you win
Oh yeah,
because it's so unexpected.
yeah. So when I make a big gaffe or trip or fall, I'm used to this. So okay, so
Oh,
it's not a big
all
deal.
right. So strongly encourage, if you can, if your calendar's free, come to convention, whatever state you're in. It is a good time.
And honestly, you get to know more about this organization that you're in. You have a deeper appreciation for PEO. I loved my chapter when I knew about that, but my love for PEO just grew leaps and bounds at my first convention. And hearing that projects dinner and really hearing the business meetings and understanding what's actually happening in the state and through that international. So understanding at a bigger level what it's about. And then, like you said, meeting other sisters and realizing, oh, it's not just my chapter.
No.
I have things in common with all these women here.
Well, the remarkable thing about PEO is when we all pool our money together, we can change lives. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We all believe in higher education of women, and we all are pooling our money together to give educational opportunities. And that's what you really learn about a convention.
How you've changed people's lives. So because you had this garage sale, or because you did a bake sale, or because you did XYZ, you allowed this woman to get an education and better her life,
You've changed her life.
which may have changed, like
Her
if it's an
children's
IPS student, you could have
lives.
changed a whole community.
A whole community.
You don't know. So the impact is
The
huge.
ripples. You really see the ripples at convention.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is learning that you're a piece in a much bigger puzzle
Mm-hmm.
be outside your chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really a special place and time. I hope to see you there.
Yeah. I hope we get to meet a lot more people. No.
All right. I think that's it for today.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on Purely Pinned, our PEO inspired pop culture podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to catch you next time.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
From Minnesota sisters with stories to share. We're purely pinned where sisterhood meets pop culture. Purely pinned, come on in. From